Hi, everyone. It's me, Dr. Stacy Betancourt, with another edition of Making Sense with Dr. Stacy. And right now, we're going to take on Balance Part 2. So, my last posting focused on the things in life that takes us away from having balance. This segment follows that with what we can do to reclaim balance in our lives. And in order to do this, it's really important to understand what part of our life is out of balance. Now, I use the scenario of work projects in part one, and whether or not it's a temporary or a long-term situation, because that makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference because if this is a short-term thing, then there's like hope. It's gonna be done, and then life is gonna go back to regular stuff. But what do you do when it's a long term? For example, the idea that something has monopolized your time and something is monopolizing your time. That can be very difficult because it will throw your life out of balance. And I used the idea of commuting. That can really monopolize your time. But there's also those things that you can do that you can reward yourself in order to give you the sense of balance. So little rewards make a big deal. Doing one thing you really enjoy is a way to restore some balance back into your life. And it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, it just has to be something that brings you joy. And the other part of that is that if you're in a chronic situation where balance isn't a thing and it's not going to be a thing for a long time, I use myself as an example. I went back to school at 35 years old. Prior to that, I had a lot of friends. I was married and I'm still married, but it's that idea that I had time. I had a lot of time. Someone wanted to do something, I was there to do it. Well, when school came into it, it changed that. It changed the dynamic. For a lot of years, I went through my bachelor's, my master's, and my PhD. In that time, I lost a lot of friends. A lot of people didn't understand that this upset to my own personal balance, it did affect them, and I didn't realize that. But it was also something that was very important to me. And I didn't start out going after a PhD. It was just the path that I ended up taking. But the thing was, is that one of the things I found was the sacrifice. I lost people that I really enjoyed being with. And unfortunately for them, they got tired of hearing me say, no, I can't do it, or I'm really sorry, I can't go. And to the point that they just stopped asking. And that's really hard because that threw my life out of balance. I didn't understand it. I do now, and I understand where they're coming from, and I respect their decisions, but I had to take care of myself. Now, that was a long term, that was a lot of years in school doing what I needed to do in all from 2001 all the way to 2019. That's a lot of years. But in that time, there were a lot of things that took place and a lot of things that helped me to restore balance in my life. Now, I understand that while this sacrifice, whatever you're doing, is essential, having the balance is important. And I do this for me, and it may sound mechanical, but I schedule time for myself. There's some non-negotiables. At a certain time of day, that is my scheduled time to work out because that is something that brings me balance. In the evenings, when everything is done, like I talked about in my last video, how my phone goes silent, I read for pleasure, which I don't get to do very often, but I set that as a way to establish balance in my life. So I read for pleasure. Um, it is so important that you find something that you are able to bring joy back into your life, because without joy and without downtime, your life is out of balance. And in order to get it back, you've got to do those things that bring you joy. So it doesn't really matter what you pick. If it's going for a walk in the evening, if it's tending your garden, if it's, whatever it is, taking a long bath, getting on the exercise regime, which really does help, not just your physical, but your mental outlook as well as you're doing different things. But if that's not for you, that's okay. But do something positive for yourself in order to retain the balance that you need. And if you're having trouble determining what that is, please reach out to me. I would love to help you in helping you decide what it is that's missing from your life and what do you need to bring back immediately. Because if you don't have balance, you don't have the physical endurance to do the things that you have to do every day. And more importantly, it does affect your mental outlook. And I don't know if you know this or not, but you're worth it. You are worth fighting for. So if you need help in this avenue of what do you do, reach out to me. Okay. I would love to help you. Please drop any comments that you have into the box and I'll read them and we can have a discussion. Whatever it is, I'd love to help you. So for now, I hope that you have balance in your life. If you don't, contact me. I wish you all a great week. Remember, we don't know the journey that other people are on. So please treat them with grace. And you know what? Treat yourself with grace. That's one way you can establish balance in your life. So for now, remember, I'm here to help you. And for this week, this is Dr. Stacy Betancourt with another edition of Making Sense with Dr. Stacy. And I wish you all a great week. Talk to you soon.